Hello, friends. So happy to have you here with me today at Radical Joy. If you've been here before, welcome back. If this is your first time with me, well, I'm glad you're here. Each week, I'm here with you talking to myself about things that weigh on my mind and heart, hoping if you're dealing with something similar, we can adjust our perspectives as you listen. Hey, if you're struggling with something that needs immediate attention, please know that help is available. Just dial 988 nationwide in the U.S. to reach the Mental Health and Suicide Crisis Hotline. All of us here at CLW Studios believe that mental health is a vital part of our well being. The more people I meet and the more places I go, the more I realize how important it is to make people aware of the fact that there is no shame in enjoying the parts of our lives that are incredible. It's time for some radical joy. And this week, the three fingers pointing back at me are for the color yellow, represented in this episode by joy and apathy. Part 3 of a 7-part series for Pride Month. Well, folks, I would be telling you a story if I said anything other than I was thrilled that today's episode is going to be dedicated to joy. Well, now that seems a little redundant whenever you take into consideration the actual title of the podcast. It's also one of those things where I continue to hope to reside in a small, warm, cozy pocket of joy, especially when the world swirls with uncertainty around us. So, what do? We protect ourselves while still leaving enough of us open so that we can be connected to those we love and trust, as well as those who are looking for love and trust in their own lives and journeys. Wonderful. On the other side of this token, we're looking at something. It's something that I deal with on a daily basis, and it breaks my heart for those who have to suffer with it. Apathy. One of those things where it's not a love or a hate, it's just a simple lack of motivation to care for a certain something. And though that seems as though it is a bit of a foreign concept at times, there are days when we wake and we sit there in the bed and we doom scroll, or we just lie there with our eyes closed, just praying that today is going to be better than the day before. One of those kinds of things. Let me tell you, you are not alone in feeling that if that's something you struggle with, okay? Even those who appear the happiest, most satisfied, bravest, most courageous among us deal with situations like that in their own lives more often than probably many would care to admit, myself included. When we talk about something like that, it could be the apathy that you deal with personally. It could be the apathy of a partner or a coworker whenever their give a hoot just doesn't seem to match yours in intensity and priority. Got it. We have to be mindful of it. Please be on the lookout for it. It can be very frustrating, incredibly discouraging. And a big way that I've learned to sort of deal with it in my own, it's difficult for me not to judge when I come across people like that. And I don't like admitting it. It doesn't make me proud to say that. It's not a badge of any kind to say that whenever I encounter people who deal with those kinds of things, there is an element of judgment to it. I'm working on it. I'm aware of it. And I promise you, it's one of those things where I'm trying to do better by them and stronger for myself in acknowledging it and trying to move past it. What I want to say is that whenever I come across something like that, I've learned and continue to learn that trying to love enough for more than one person is a fool's errand. It is a folly. Trying to encourage someone whenever they don't feel like being encouraged, trying to be Pollyanna, lollipop in your pocket kind of person, that is not very helpful in many cases. Whenever you aim that at someone, whenever you speak very clearly and directly to the joy that you think they should or supposed to have in their hearts, that is often it often leads to directly the opposite outcome of what you're hoping for. Might I suggest, from my own experience in messing this up on numerous occasions, because it often takes me more than one lesson to get it, live in your own joy. It's not that I'm trying to encourage anyone else. It's not that I'm trying to pep talk anyone in doing that. What I'm saying is, since this is not me talking directly to you one on one, but me in front of a microphone while you're listening now, as I have pre recorded, hear this and know a way to help others who you feel may be suffering from apathy or a low energy place is to live in your own joy so that they may see it if they want to see it, and so they may aspire to perhaps reach it whenever they are ready. Instead of being active in their participation or elevation, maybe be active in your own so that when they get ready to try to come out of wherever they are, they've got a good example. That for me has worked so much better. It doesn't feel as aggressive to the person that you want to try to help. And it only helps you as the person who continues to focus on and cultivate joy in my own life, in your own life, however we want to phrase that. I realized I was like, oh, where are we going with that? In our own lives. And then that way, whenever someone feels as though they've just had enough, because sometimes that's what it is. You live in apathy, you live in static, something that has no motion, forward, backward, or otherwise. You just sort of float. And eventually we have to get out of that. We reach a point where we're just, okay, I've had enough. I need a shower. I need to brush my teeth. I want to brush my hair aggressively. Well, I say that because I just got finished doing that myself. It feels great. It stimulates all that blood flow to my scalp. It gives a tingle up there that sort of like radiates down from my head on down. And it's these things that are these little moments, these little gestures that continue to sort of shake up everything. Because apathy, I think, has a very stolid feel to it. It doesn't have much motion, up, down, forward, backward at all. It just sort of gets stuck. And in order for me to sort of move that around, I have to break it up first. And I can do that by jumping around at the gym or giving myself a very aggressive head scratch or using my hairbrush to sort of like get the blood flowing. And then that makes a picture in my mind from the sensations that I feel in my scalp so that now I can start moving that around and start moving it out. And what that will do is leave a vacancy behind. And because now that there is a vacancy in me, I have those around me who love me enough to read me and try to do well by me so that if they have been living in their joy, now I can start to focus on replenishing what is empty with what fills me with a brighter light and a stronger love and that joy that continues to get my motion back in the ocean. Right? Exactly. And sometimes I see this thing on TikTok. Y'all know I love me some TikTok, and it's a shimmy a day. Have you seen this? And it's just absolutely fantastic. Sometimes you just got to shake it off. It's one of those things where, yes, in my brain, I know A, and sometimes I've got to get my body involved before my brain can A. You know what I'm saying? Right. And sometimes you just can't really worry about what other people are going to think if you need to do it right now. You do it right now. And you shake it free and you move it out and you look at a whole other way of exercising, ORCISING, all of that sort of mood. Don't want to put a sticker on it, but I do want to say it's very much a mood so that we can replace with something that's just a little bit more productive, something that is just a little bit more strengthening. I feel as though whenever I can't move, I start to get really sedentary, which you would think whenever you think of those two words together, perhaps it's one and the same, and I don't think it is. If you're not moving, that just means that it's gonna take a little bit more, energy to get you going again. Sedentary implies almost a semi-permanence in my mind. Sedentary means like I have a sedentary lifestyle, meaning I sit at my desk for hours at a time working on XYZ. Okay, great. What that means now is that I must integrate more motion and action into my life so that my joints don't start to stiffen or my muscles start to soften or weaken. What I have to do is make sure that I reach a balance of these things to know that that is what my body responds best to. My lifestyle, as far as sedentary or my job, my work, etc., may be one of those things that's very lucrative. And I know that I have grown accustomed to living indoors and eating well. So, in order to maintain and continue to cultivate good health, both mentally, physically, spiritually, all of it, I must find a balance in my action. The same thing goes with joy and apathy. Joy is not something that we can all maintain 24/7. I know that. Please don't think that I am so naive to think, no, 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 it's just good vibes only. That's not the house we're living in, friends. Good vibes only. I don't trust it. I don't love it. I think everybody and their mama is entitled to a bad day, a couple of bad days, a string of them if push comes to shove. And if that's what you're dealing with, my heart goes out to you and I love you and I hope that you find a way to break that up very, very soon. I find that the longer we string those together, whether good, bad, indifferent, however we want to look at it, it tends to create habit. And we have to be very, very mindful of that. Okay. We have to know that if I've gone a few days and I haven't gotten out of the house or, I haven't done XYZ to promote my own well being, I'll start to slide. I'll start to feel a little bit lethargic. I will feel grumpy, inordinately so. I'll be very easily angered. Okay. I know this about myself because people in my life have cared enough about me to tell me point blank, "Hey, how you feeling? You're kind of cranky. You need a snack, you need a nap, you need to get out of the house. How about we tussle a little?" Honest to God, I have. I've had a few friends that are just like, you might just want to roughhouse a little bit, and they just manhandle me a little bit. To be fair, they knew me better than most because they combined care and love and human, actual physical connection with it to make sure that by the time that I'm done, they elevated my grump even farther because I'm like, why? What are you doing? And then eventually, I broke a sweat. I started to laugh. This person held on to me and struggled with me so that I could get that struggle out. And then I was able to get rid of it. And then I could smile and laugh and rest in the fact of knowing that someone cared enough about me to bring me to a jocular violence so that I could get past it. Sometimes what you're dealing with, what fills you, is just too much, too strong, too heavy, too solid. And sometimes you need a little help to get past it. And that's okay too. It's okay to ask that. It's okay to accept that from people who perhaps you feel just a little bit under to ask. Not under them, but just you're under your 100% and are perhaps too far under to be able to feel comfortable or confident asking for it, even though you know in your guts. That's the thing that could help you the most. So when someone comes to you with an unorthodox suggestion on how to move past your apathy, to find your way back to joy, ask the question, is this the person that would do that for me? And be careful because the answer can be a little tricky. You'll get deep in your own business. You'll get, in your own head and you'll be farther away from your heart. And perhaps you don't know how to answer that, or you don't feel strong enough to ask it of them or to consent to it. sometimes they don't even bother and they come and they rough you up anyway. And love and joy be unto those people. May they know how grateful I am for who they are in my life and for knowing that my love language sometimes is just getting smacked around ever so gently until you break a sweat and crack a smile. God love them. Absolutely. Now, I realize this is not going to be everyone's love language. I would venture to say that many, many, many men out there, if we're going to go with those 5 love languages, theirs is very specifically physical touch. I get it. I feel the exact same way. I love a hug. I love a cuddle. Absolutely, yes, I do. Now, I think it's really funny that in many respects, especially among American men, some of the few acceptable ways for that are either intimacy with a partner or some sort of violent act. And clearly it is, because I just gave you an example that borderlines on that. Borderlines nothing. It's the dead center of it. So it's one of those things to keep in mind. Ask yourself the question, what does my love language look like? How is it most effective for others to show me affection? What does that look like? Now, I'm not pushing the book. I don't know. I've heard plus and minus for the book, and it's been a million years since I read it. I think it's always very important to know what it is people can do for you to show you affection so that you feel special and well tended. I think that's a great thing, honestly. I think it's a great thing to communicate to people that you have relationships with, whether they are platonic or romantic or anywhere in between. Wonderful. Great. I've had some very plain discussions with some very good friends as of late. I'm like, look, you try to get me angry. And it's not that you're trying, you do it for entertainment. And I don't know that I love it. So I need you to know that that needs to stop, especially if you're going to try to push me toward that. Laugh whenever I get angry and then get upset whenever I tell you to go piss up a rope. What? It should, uh, I said what I said. I make no apologies for it. And it's not that even that I'm looking for an apology from them. I just need them to know if they continue in this vein, it's going to continue to make a wedge, drive a wedge between our relationship. Well, do people do that? Sure they do. People deal with different things in different ways. People get afraid that perhaps their relationship is starting to drift, as many will. I think that a lot of things that we do have sort of a zigzag pattern. They sort of grow apart and then they grow back together, and they grow apart and they grow back together. And I think that's just the natural order of things. When you don't maintain something on an almost daily or weekly basis, they tend to create distance. That's just the way it is. So much happens so quickly in our lives. It shouldn't come as a surprise that if we don't maintain, if we don't work on some sort of building between 2 or more people, it's going to create a distance. Not saying it's good or bad, it's just saying that's just the way physics work, especially whenever we're talking about between people. Okay, great. I think it's wonderful whenever we try to find a way to create a joy in our lives with other people. And I'm talking to me like I'm talking to anybody right now, because I am very solo, very lone wolfy over here. I have had more than one woman in my life tell me this out of a very warm and caring, kind place of love, for sure. And they tell me that. I was like, oh, okay. I don't know how to take that. Well, it's not good or bad. It's just something I've noticed. And now that I've noticed it, I can't unsee it. Building joy with others is a wonderful thing. Like I'm recording this on a Thursday, and this evening we have something at my gym. It's called functional bodybuilding, and I have a workout buddy there, and he is this phenomenal human. I love spending time with him. He is very charismatic. He is a card. He's so fun to be around, and he is ridiculously strong. So we go to the gym and we're almost always workout buddies together. And people, I feel, like to be around the two of us because we cut up so much. We get our fitness in, make no mistake. He's an absolute machine. And I'm in there just trying to keep up with him. And I'm no slouch. I continue to get stronger and better, and I'm grateful for it. And it's just, There's something to be said about the joy that you can make on your own because that is very specifically your brand and your color, and that is wonderful. And then there is a joy you get to mix with people who are your people that makes this wonderful dynamic that continues to build one on the other, that invites others into the circle, that lets everybody kind of like swirl in and add their own color and flavor to it. And it just continues to build. The momentum continues to gain force. It's so fun. And to be fair, it's really cool being part of a dynamic that others want to be a part of. It's great. It's grand. It's wonderful. And it is the antithesis to apathy. Because if people want to join what you're making, what you're doing is moving others to action. I want to be a part of that. I would like to be cool. I want to be strong and beautiful and funny and all of these things. Yes. Yes, you do. And there is room at the table too. Get your ass over here. Let's play. Let's make the work we must do to be bigger, better, stronger, kinder people look so appealing that others want to join. I'm not encouraging it. I'm not throwing it at anyone. What I'm doing is taking care of my own business in a way that looks so fun that others just want to join. It creates a gravity, it makes an orbit. And I want to draw people into it so that if they don't know that they're ready, it looks so fun what I'm doing over here that they want to come over and play too. They're a little hesitant. I get it. I'm loud. I'm obnoxious. I'm so annoying at times, especially whenever I'm really in the center of my fitness. Watch out. I'm sweating. I'm breathing hard. I'm having the time of my life because I'm going to hurt tomorrow. But today, you better look out. I am hard to match. Oh, who doesn't want to be part of that, right? Not everyone's going to respond to that. Maybe to everyone, that's not necessarily their flavor, and that's okay too, because there are also people that love to sort of live in this peace and warmth and comfort and delight. And that speaks to others in a different flavor of joy. Wonderful. Their apathy is caught up perhaps in so many different things that weigh on their minds and hearts, and a to-do list as long as your arm, and worry and frantic and what have you. And they feel stuck because they have so many things pulling on them in so many different directions. They feel as though they can't move just because if one of those threads were to break, it would fling them into the stratosphere. And that's and not in a good way. And so what they see in others is this peace and this quiet and this center and this warmth. So that what they can do is sort of ever so gently and very carefully release these forces, one or two at a time, just to make sure they don't go flinging off into some other trajectory. And eventually they cut and loose enough, eventually they cut loose of enough of these forces, pulling them in 14 different directions so that they can settle into that peace and that warmth and that stillness that others find so joyful. There's many ways to express your joy as they are to worry about what's going on. Apathy, for whatever reason, I feel is very much one specific color. I feel it's very much one specific direction, which is none at all. It feels very stationary to me. Whereas joy definitely has action and motion to it. Even if it's just, it doesn't even have to be emotion. What I see in my head is perhaps just this, what I see is a monolithic crystal. As weird as this is going, I don't know why in the world, it feels like the Washington Monument in my mind. And though it does not move, it can change color. It can oscillate between a warm, light lavender into a deep fuchsia and then into a teal. And then that starts to rotate to aquamarine and it continues. And though there is no movement per se, the motion is there in the undulation of the colors. And that's still something. That is still change. That is still different. And I think that sometimes we have to go with something like that in case the actual motion is something that is somewhat out of our range, our scope. And that's fine. Apathy feels one color, one position, very much one thing. And it almost feels as though it fills the screen with itself. When I look and think of the Washington Monument, there is scenery around it. There is something in the background that I can see, perhaps the sky or the Capitol building in the distance or whatever. When I think of apathy, it feels as though it is a solid that fills the entire view. I try to look out the window and I see nothing but the darkness. I try to look into the distance. I try to look past and I can't. Why? Because that fills my vista. I can't look around it. I can't look through it. There is an opacity to it that I can't seem to understand or see through. I must break it. I must somehow shatter this, pulverize it so that I can move it away, down, and out so that I can find my way back to the joy and back to that motion and that kinetic feeling again. And for whatever reason, yellow inspire well, I know exactly why, because we very much took the inside out theme to heart whenever we were discussing these colors for Pride Month. It's like, great, yes. Joy, I love her. I tell you what, she can be a little much for me, and I flipping dig it. Like joy is a thing over here, as one might imagine. Huge shocker. And there are times when she must be tempered. Okay, she must be blended with others. That's a reason why they're all there in the first place. Because we can be joyful and it can also be ever so slightly tinged with the shades and the brightnesses of other emotions, as well as just you don't have to be on 10 all the time. You really don't. And it's not that you have to worry about that you're sliding into something when you're not at 10 all the time. Great. Now, I do love a sensible 7. I do. I like being more than half. I do. And I realize that for many of us, myself included, that can be a lot to ask on many a day. What I can do in that respect is just say, wonderful. I know where my goal is. Where are we today? How easy or difficult is this? I don't know. So let's take a look at it. Let's ponder it. Okay, super dupe. And we do. And on some days when I've had enough coffee or a snack and a nap or a treat, or I've gotten something in the mail or any number of these little tiny wins that I love so well, I can hit that 7 without even breaking a sweat. Some days you might even catch me at an 8.2, and may the good Lord help you if you catch me on a 10. It's a lot. It's a lot. Oh boy, is it though? I know that. And that's the best part. Knowing it can make you so very aware of it and how it affects others in their own journeys. Because I don't want to be so conceited as to think that whenever I'm out there walking and doing whatever, the way I'm living my life has an effect on every single person around me. I would also not like to be so unbelievably modest that I think it doesn't affect at least somebody. Okay. And that's it. I think you're selling yourself short. I think we're all selling ourselves short if we look at an experience like this and think that the way we live our lives doesn't affect at least one or two folks around me, because the way we live, somebody out there is watching it and they're making a blueprint for their own. And they're taking the things they find helpful or inspiring and they're discarding the rest. And that is fine. Ooh, that's good. Honestly, that's great. That's so incredibly healthy. It's wonderful to take things from the people, some of the people that you know and love, and try to aspire. It's also very, very helpful to know that it don't got to be everything. As a matter of fact, please don't make it everything. That single white female thing, that's bad news bears, even among the coolest and the best, because we are not one size fits all. Now, one or two of these things, one size could probably fit more than one. So, yeah, joy, inspire it, cultivate it, work toward it. Apathy, understand when you're there. Know how to get out of it. Know who your people are that can help you out of it if for whatever reason you are not in a place where you can do it on your own. Also, please know it is not an imposition or a burden when you ask that of your people. I find myself doing that. I find myself feeling embarrassed that I have to ask for help. There's no greater compliment in the world to that friend than whenever you walk up to them and say, "This is what I'm going through. Have you got 8 minutes to maybe listen to me for get this off my chest so that maybe I can start getting a little more joy back in my life? Because right now, all I feel is gray and solid and heavy. And I would really like to share that with you so we can both put it down." Absolutely. Yes, please, and thank you. I love the time we get to spend together. Thank you so much for joining us here today at Radical Joy. If this is your first episode, welcome. We're thrilled you're here. We hope that today has given you something that can help you in your journey, whether it's day to day or something you keep in your pocket until you can pull it out like a shiny new penny or a favorite rock so that you can use it to get better. If this is not your first episode, welcome back, friends. So happy you're here with us here at Radical Joy. You are a blessing and a wonder. If you're the kind of person who likes to leave a review, please do so. Leave us a 5-star review on whichever platform where you're listening. Send us a screenshot of that so we can thank you, send you some swag. We got a brand new look here at Radical Joy for season 3, and we would love to send you some new and improved. So you can put it on a water bottle, a laptop, a journal, wherever you choose to put it. More than likely, it's going to be a sticker. But who knows? We might be feeling froggy one day. You just never can tell. No matter what, please understand, folks, that whenever I pull up to this microphone, whether it's by myself or one of our esteemed and incredible guests, we are always looking for new, different, and more effective ways to make sure that you know how much we love y'all.